1955, and families across America were introduced to a new dessert treat.
The Jell-O family of famous desserts brings you new Jell-O instant pudding that needs no cooking. Just add to milk and beat. In minutes, this terrific new busy day dessert is ready to eat. Creamy, nourishing, so delicious, and so quick, you can make it just before dessert time while the children are clearing the table. Or let the children make it themselves. It's that easy. New Jell-O instant puddings are at your grocer's now.
Thousands of other products have wound up on our supermarket shelves in the past 40 years, but how much do we really know about those foods we eat and those places we shop? In his new supermarket trivia book, Can You Trust a Tomato in January, Vince Staten takes us up and down the aisles in search of that elusive fruit, and he tells us everything we want to know and a few things we might not about the foods we eat. Vince, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
Tell me, why did you write this book in the first place?
Well, I had been a 9-to-5-er for many years, and just rushing in the supermarket to get bread, to get milk, back out. I became a freelance writer 3 years ago, and I started accompanying my wife to the supermarket, and suddenly it was like getting a new pair of glasses. Because the supermarket every 10 years will double the number of items. I remember going into a supermarket, there was a video store in there, a bank, there was a photo processing center. I remember going up to a clerk and saying, didn't there used to be a supermarket here?
Next thing you know, there's going to be a hairdresser in the middle of the supermarket. You have so many fun trivia things in this book. I want to get right to them. Tell me about the supermarket cart, the shopping cart.
Well, without the cart, the supermarket would be impossible. In the old days, the women came to market, they brought their own basket. As soon as it got full or too heavy, they quit shopping. Grocers wanted them to stay in there longer, buy more stuff. So a guy in Oklahoma decided he'd put 2 baskets on wheels, put them up in the front of the grocery store. He had 20 of them, and the women came in and immediately walked past him.
Nobody wanted to use them.
He had to hire his employees' wives to push them around and show people before the supermarket cart became used.
And then the idea caught on. Tell me about the layout of supermarkets. They always make you go to the right, don't they? And right to the produce, right?
Almost every supermarket in America is right-handed, and that's because of a 1964 government study that found that people will spend more money based on the length of time they spend, not on the length of the time, but on how far they walk. So supermarkets will spread things out through the store.
Oh, that's funny. Why produce first?
Well, produce is sort of the glamour department of the supermarket. It's really the only place you can go into where you can touch the food, smell the food. Everywhere else, it's hermetically sealed in bags or meat is wrapped up, but there you can actually feel it.
They want you to have that sort of one-on-one experience with the food. Well, speaking of produce, can you trust a tomato?
In
like
January?
This?
Well, this is July. This may be a tomato you can trust because tomatoes are in season now in most places.
I don't think I trust this tomato.
But so many grocery store tomatoes now come from Mexico where they're picked green and they're gassed to fool the tomato into thinking it's ripe so it'll turn red. And they
lose their flavor once they're picked, right?
Once they come off the vine, they start losing their flavor. And it'll be 7 days before it gets to your supermarket, maybe another 2 days before you get it on the table.
Yum. Let's talk about cereals. Now, you have a list of the top-selling cereals in this country. I was kind of surprised at Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes is the number 1 selling cereal. Cheerios, Raisin Bran, Rice Krispies, and Corn Flakes. And, of course, Frosted Flakes is really just Corn Flakes with sugar sprayed on it.
But talk about a price difference. They never put these 2 cereals next to each other at the supermarket, do they?
No, and they never put them in the same size box either. If you'll notice, they're different shape and they're different weight, so that you virtually need a math degree from MIT to figure out the cost difference.
And you figured it out. What is it?
It's about 7 to 10 cents an ounce just for sugar.
Wow,
frosting.
That's ridiculous. All right, let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about frozen waffles. What's the chance that you'll actually get some real blueberries in something like this?
Well, not in this one, because it says artificially flavored, and if you look on the ingredients, it says blueberry bits,
well,
and it tells you what blueberry bits. There's sugar dough that's artificially flavored and artificially colored. So essentially what it is just a little piece of purple that's in your waffle.
Oh, how appetizing. Let's talk about the questions I asked earlier. What has more lemon in it, Lemon Pledge or Country Time Lemonade?
Well, you need real lemon in Lemon Pledge to get into the wood, whereas Country Time Lemonade, they can just use a lemon extract, a natural flavor. So Lemon Pledge has more.
Okay, and what do graham crackers have to do with sex?
Well, the guy who invented graham crackers, Sylvester Graham, was greatly concerned about the youth of America, and he believed pure food, pure body, so he invented graham crackers, an anti-lust food.
Ah, okay, and finally, do we have time to do this egg thing real quickly? You say that eggs aren't as fragile as we think.
Right, if you'll turn it this way, 10% of the cost of food is packaging, but this is a much better package than anything man-made. If you'll try to squeeze it, you can't break it lengthwise like that.
Oh, I'm trying. Really? And even if you're really strong, you can't? Oh, that's interesting. So they're just not, they don't need the heavy cardboard packaging?
No, not like we think.
Huh. Well, Vince Staten, it's a really fun book. I enjoyed reading it, and thanks for coming on this morning.
Appreciate it.
And we'll be back in a moment, but first, this is Today on NBC. What if I do it this way?
You can do it that way.
Here than in any other place.
Japanese did. They spent billions and they bought big. But did they buy smart? Find out tonight on NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw in Japan.
Now, Vince, right after I tried to break the egg this way, these guys were saying, I could do it. I could break an egg that way. So we're going to see if they actually can. Go ahead, give it a try, you two. Oh! That was a really bad idea. Uh-oh. There's egg.
What happened, Vince?
There's egg on Matt's suit and a little egg on your face, Stone. Vincent, that was a great idea.
But the WWF will be here to sign you up.
You have to come back real soon. Was this a trick egg, Vince?
Station break.